Let's talk a bit of Manchester United and speak to Jay Motty, presenter of the Stretford Paddock. Evening, Jay.
Hi,
Evening,
Jay.
lads. You okay?
Yeah,
Very
good. Good, mate. Look, obviously a bit of a nightmare for Man United already. Two massive setbacks. Lenny Euro broke his foot. I mean, he's going to be out for 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty devastating. I was at the Arsenal game in the States when it happened, and we'd sort of good signs from him, good glimpses from him, I should say, when he made his debut for United, and obviously was a highly regarded player, and Real Madrid were after him, so it was exciting to see what he could do for United, and then to lose him like that so quickly as well after the injury issues we had last season. You want to go into this season on a positive footnote, and then losing him for 3 months, and also Rasmus Højlund, I think he's out as well. So that's two players that will probably have started for Manchester United when the season kicks off. So yeah, it is a bit of a blow. And like I said earlier, injuries were such a massive issue for Manchester United last season. And before the season's even started, we were already looking at it, going, we're missing key players. And yeah, I'm really concerned and worried that this season we're not going to get the start we need, because I think Erik Ten Hag needs a positive start too.
Yeah, it's just another slap in the face. But I'll tell you what I want to ask you about. I'm not saying he's world class, but McTominay, 20 million. I can't believe they're selling him for 20 million. Can you?
No, I hear you. I mean, listen, I've criticised McTominay in the past. I've praised him. He's one of those players that he's had good games and bad games, but on the whole, I think he's a very good Premier League midfielder. Look at the goals that he scored last season. There was a time when he was just banging him in almost every week. Then you look at him in the FA Cup final. I was very impressed with the role he played there, where he almost man-marked Rodri. He's a player that can do lots of different things in that midfield area. He's got experience. He can get you goals. He can drop a little bit deeper. And you look at some of the prices other midfielders go who aren't as talented as Scott McTominay. I am surprised. I think maybe Manchester United looking at it going, look, he's an academy graduate. It is all profit. We need to move him on if we're going to bring in anyone because of PSR. But I think you should be getting more than 20 million quid for Scott McTominay. I completely agree.
Well, for a start, he gives you everything he's got. I'm not saying he can run a game of football, but he can actually cover the ground and hold his own.
Yeah,
20 million. Yeah, I mean, like, why would I mean? It's these new rules. It's not working, is it?
No, it's a terrible
Gallagher's
rule.
having to sell.
It's a terrible rule.
Chelsea selling Gallagher and a couple of other youngsters.
That's what happened. The problem is now the big clubs, they're just selling the youngsters. That's not what that was brought in to do. No. Get rid of your best young players for your academies just because you got balanced books. It's a ridiculous rule. They will change it, but by that point, a lot of the academy players who have been at them football clubs for years are gutted because they've left the club that they've always wanted to play for.
Yeah, and Toro getting injured, Jay, he's got a massive problem there now, hasn't he? Because who's he got? He's got Maguire, Lindelof. Varane's gone, hasn't he?
Yeah, Varane's gone.
Martinez will be fit probably at the start of the season.
Yeah.
So he's got a problem there now.
Do they already look at another signing at the back?
Well, we've been linked, haven't we, with Matthijs De Ligt for quite some time from Bayern Munich. I don't know what the latest is with that one.
Been linked with him for 3 years.
Yeah, that's true. We were linked with him, I think, back before then when he was at Ajax. Also, we've been linked with Jared Branthwaite, but, excuse me, that one seems to have gone a little bit cold. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they went, I like Branthwaite, but I think Everton are after 70 million quid and United just haven't got it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went back in for De Ligt, because we're actually weaker now in defence than we were last season. Last season, we already had injury issues. We ended up having to rely on the likes of Casemiro to play at centre-back. We've lost Varane since then. Willy Camboila's gone out. Obviously, Martinez has come back in, which is a massive plus, but we've brought in Euro and he's injured. So I think United desperately need some reinforcements. And if you can get someone like De Ligt, so it wouldn't be a panic buy for me. It wouldn't be going, oh, we need a defender, let's just get anyone. He's a player, as you mentioned, we've been linked with for quite some time. Obviously got a pedigree, and he's still only 24 as well. Plus, Bayern Munich look like they're willing to let him go for, in today's modern era, is relatively decent deal. I think 40 million euros, I think it's been touted at. That makes a lot of sense to me. It just depends whether United have got the money to spend, but hopefully we have, because we need him.
Well, you say that, Jay, and for people out there listening who don't fully understand what it means, the financial fair play thing, and I think some of us, not all of us, understand how it works, but from your point of view, Man United, how can they... Can you explain to everybody how much money they've got to spend and how much they've got to get in before they can spend it? Because Man United have got a load of money, a bit like Newcastle, and can't spend it.
Yeah, it does seem weird when you look at the club the size of Manchester United. And I think a lot of the problem with United in particular is we've overspent, and we've overspent on wages over the last 10 years since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. You look at some of the players we've got and the wages they're on. we've got players on 275, 300, 350 grand. Some of them might not even start for Manchester United. And I think that's what's left us in this predicament. We've spent big money on players like, say, Casemiro, for example, a good player, but he's one of the highest paid players in the Premier League. We spent about 70 million quid on him, and there's not even a guarantee he'll start anymore. Jadon Sancho's another one we spent a lot of money on, big wages. Again, I know he's played a little bit in pre-season, but is he going to start for Manchester United? And it's left us in this position with, profit and sustainability where we have to sort of move players on. And that's why, as you're going back to your original point, is we're looking at the academy players, because all of that, when you sell them, is profit, because you haven't paid anything for him. The issue I've got with that is some of these players are good players. And United, if you talk about what United are built on and what we're about, it's giving players from the academy a chance. And if you'll start selling him on for less than you should, just because you need to balance the books to bring other players in, I think it's a rocky road to go down. And it's not what Manchester United should be about, to be honest with you.
No, it's just built on sand, isn't it? Yeah. You bring in players in and hoping they do well from different countries, whereas it should be based around your youth team. This is what football's about, really, for fans. They watch players come in the under-18s, they watch under-21s. He's going to be playing for us soon, and then they get a couple of youngsters in the team, and they're their favourite players, because they've come through the system. But right now, you're having to sell them to bring players in who probably pick the wages up for 2 years, and you never see them ever again.
I mean, United's best player for me last season, or one of our best players, was Kobbie Mainoo. Came through the academy. Yeah. Absolute breath of fresh air. And I'm not saying for 1 minute I think we would sell him. If we did, the fans would go berserk. And I don't think he'd want to do that anyway. But there's a player that's come through the academy, being given a chance, taking it, and been a bit of a shining star. We've seen it as well with the likes of Alejandro Garnacho. He's another one who's come in 19 years old and made a big difference. So I want to see United giving youngsters a chance. I get we have to make signings, and I'm all about that. But it's just frustrating that we're in this position now where you're looking at players you'd probably want to keep hold of if you could, and you're having to sell them for less than you should, just so you can bring in reinforcements. That, to me, doesn't make any sense. And also, as well, some academy players take a little bit longer than others. You might be waiting until they're 21, 22 until they're ready, but by that time, you've already sold them.
You still need a striker as well, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like every position we need strengthening, but we brought in Joshua Zirkzee. I think he's more of a backup. Losing Rasmus Højlund, though, even with Højlund, we haven't got a lot of options. I'm not a huge fan of Marcus Rashford playing down the middle. I know he can do that. I'd like to see us bring in another striker, but the fact that we can't seem to get a midfielder or a defender in does make me apprehensive or sort of pessimistic about the prospects of us bringing in another striker. In an ideal world, though, we would, because you need options, and at the minute, United are running out of them.
Yeah. Just on the manager, though, Ten Hag, is he going to last the season if you get off to a bad start? I know, even with injuries, but you can't make that excuse for the whole season again. They used it a lot last year, and there was some time. I know you won the FA Cup, but a lot of the time during the season you were bad, and the fans weren't happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think I spoke to you a couple of times during last season. I'm not going to make excuses. Finishing 8th isn't good enough. Now, I backed Ten Hag. I wanted him to be given another season. That FA Cup win, I think, was massive. Just from a fan's point of view, there's nothing better than beating Manchester City in an FA Cup final. But we have to kick on in the league this season. And I get your point. You can sort of say that for one season. I think you maybe get away with it about injuries. But if you're saying it the following season and you're still struggling in the league, I don't know if Ineos are going to listen to that. And also, let's not forget, Ineos, I know they gave him the 1 year deal that sort of kicked in on his extension. But he's not their guy. They didn't bring him in. So if things are going wrong, they don't have sort of sense of loyalty perhaps to him. So I do think he needs to get off to a positive start in the league. I do think we need to be challenging for those top 4 spaces at a minimum. And I think if he is struggling, then the pressure's going to be on. And I don't know if sort of pointing at the injuries is going to wash. I hope he does. I want to see Erik Ten Hag succeed, and I think he can. But I do feel like the pressure is going to be on, because finishing 8th last season, sort of he's got to be looking over his shoulder a little bit. It's just the nature of the beast.
Jay, the club turn up at away games, right, with 2 buses. One with the players on it and the rest with the medical staff on it. Honestly, Arsenal do the same. They've got 2 buses, right, to get everything on there. When you look at Man United's sports scientists, and I've been in football, I've managed teams, so I had these types of things in place, so I know how it works. You have sports scientists, you have sports psychologists, you have masseurs, you have 4 physios, 5 physios, you have surgeons, you have doctors. I mean, I'd sack them all. With the injury list Man United have had over the last 2 years, I would sack them all, saying, that's what you're there for. How on earth are we getting this many injuries? We'd be better off going back to the Alex Ferguson days, where we had 2 physios, 2 masseurs and a doctor, and that's it. You can't do any worse.
it is bizarre, and I can't put my finger on it. And I get your point about, is it the medical staff? Is it something's wrong? It can't just be bad luck. It can't be coincidence, because that only goes so far. We go, just have been a bit unlucky with injuries. It can happen at clubs. You can just have a spate of injuries, whatever. But when it's happening so consistently, when even in pre-season it's happening, and when some of these injuries as well are sort of long-term, and we've seen players too as well, let's not forget, get injured, then we're told they're ready to come back, or they'll come back, and then they're injured again. Luke Shaw was the obvious example. We heard him in the Euros saying how he probably got rushed back a little bit. Tyrell Malacia, I don't know what's going on there. It's been a whole season that he missed last campaign. So there's obviously something going on there. And I don't know if it's replacing the medical staff as the answer, but United need to change something, need to look at something, because we can't have this cycle that we've been in for the last season or so of just losing key players, losing them for a long amount of time, and when they come back, they're not fully ready, and then they're injured again. It happened with Lisandro Martinez. He missed the back end a couple of seasons ago. He comes back in the beginning of last season, and he gets injured again, and he's out for almost the entire season. That's just not acceptable. And if that carries on, then Erik Ten Hag and Manchester United are going to struggle.
All right. Jay, top man, mate. I
Thanks,
appreciate
Jay.
you coming on.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.